go into who Elite is, and then we'll get started with our demo. So Elite Engineering Services, primarily based on the West Coast, but we have operations all over. Our three main locations worth mentioning are near Seattle, near Los Angeles, and then more or less right in the center of Montana. So we are in the aerospace and defense sector primarily, but we certainly service all industries. We are a partner with PTC and wanted to host this webinar. I'll come back to the series in just a moment, but we'll be doing a series of webinars, one a month, that hopefully will help you get more value out of the products that you have, or at least are interested in using. So we have a team of engineers. We also have the solution and automation specialists. And the reason I mention the engineers is that most partners of PTC are just partners. We're actually a partner and a customer at the same time. So we are using the same software that all of you are. So today's meeting actually is attended by a number of our own employees that are interested in learning about the latest revision of CREO since it was just released. So you can see some of our capabilities, some of the things that we can do for you. Just wanted to briefly mention them. Obviously, we are here to help with all forms of services, whether that be solution architecture or PLM consulting. We are experienced in setting up and upgrading and modifying and improving Windchill, and of course, CAD automation, CAD best practices, methodology, model-based definition. And of course, as a partner, we can help you with the software for whether it's IoT, PLM, or CAD. We can help with all of those products. So just wanted to very quickly introduce us. Of course, if there are any questions, please feel free to contact me at any time. And as part of the webinar series, I mentioned in the email that you all were invited on that the next one was going to be the Factory of the Future and then MathCAD. We've actually already made a change just based on when we have someone available to present on MathCAD. So next month, we'll be doing MathCAD interoperability. And then in June, we'll be discussing the Factory of the Future, getting into some of the capabilities of ThingWorks. I've left the next 2 dates up. They're still to be determined for the topics, but you can keep the date in mind. And if anyone has any suggestions of topics that they would like to see, please let me know. We will, for consistency's sake, be aiming for the second Tuesday of every month. So I imagine at least one of those upcoming ones will talk about PLM, since we're talking about CAD and MathCAD and IoT in the upcoming events. So that being said, I will pass the presentation off to Zach, who will show you what's new in CREO 5.0.
Absolutely. So my name is Zach Booker. I'm here with the Virtual Center of Excellence. I'm here today just to give you guys a high-level demonstration of what's new in CREO Parametric 5.0. So I'm just going to share my screen. Sure we can all see it. Can you see my screen, everyone? Brad, Stuart?
Yes, we do.
Yep, we can see it.
All right, perfect. So I'm sure we're all familiar with CREO, but what it is, it's a powerful computer-aided design tool with the goal to allow companies to design, manufacture, and reduce products' time to market by making everyone's design process much more effective and efficient. So with this year's update, previously we did some surveys, and we found out that about 40% of our customers are having products that are more complex. So it's taken a lot longer for them to get the job done, and they want some shortcuts and just have more intuitive and just better ways to go about making parts. We also found out that 56% of our customers, need to be more efficient. They need to beat their competitors to market so they can get out there first. We also found that 40% are looking to leverage data sensors to make optimal parts. So they want to bring in data from the real-life scenarios and use that data to drive their 3D CAD model design and work from there. So we believe we addressed all these issues right within CREO Parametric 5.0. And CREO Parametric enables companies to accelerate product innovation by the greater use of CAD data and by replacing assumptions with facts. So today, during this demonstration, I'm going to cover what's new in CREO Parametric 5.0 by going over some of the productivity improvements we've made right within base CREO, and then also some of the modules right within base CREO as well. So to start with the productivity improvements, we've expanded, and now instead of just having 2D sweeps, we now have 3D sweeps available too. So now you can accurately use 3D geometry to represent some grinding tools and simple machining tools when going through and trying to make sweeps on your parts. And we're also going to add more 3D representation tools as well in the future. We've also upgraded the drafts and rounds. So previously, you know, you've had the option to make drafts with rounds, but if you already had a round or a chamfer there, and then you wanted to go ahead and add a draft, you weren't able to do that. You had to go back, delete that round or chamfer, and then go and make that draft, and then make the round or chamfer again. But now we've just simplified that process a little bit, you know, so the program's going to be able to recognize that's a round or that's a chamfer, and then just add that draft right on top of it. Make everything just a little bit more simple. As far as the feature mirror improvements go, we've also added geometry preview. So previously you couldn't actually tell what you're going to mirror across that plane, but now you're going to have a pretty good idea of what it's going to look like before actually having to hit the accept button. Also, you're not going to have to bring over the entire sketch as well. You can just pick what sketch lines you want to have mirrored and go from there. So you can go ahead and add and remove different features. We're continuing to expand upon the 3D or the mini toolbar expansion, and with this new update, we've added 2D and 3D annotations right within the graphics area. So you're going to be able to just right-click there, and it's going to have it's going to have information for you just available right with the right-clicking. And also the style feature, you can now control the input with that. And the round and chamfer handling has just been improved a little bit too, so you're going to be able to right-click right over those rounds or chamfers, and you can easily edit it. Those edit options are going to pop right up for you. Make everything just a little bit easier for you. Less clicks, less headaches, that's the whole idea. As far as the modernized appearance goes, we really just made everything more intuitive and easy to understand. That's what we mean by modernizing. Just making it easier for the user to go about and get the job done. And also, we've added a prompt display at the cursor. So if you hover over some things, it'll kind of give you an intuitive, next step on where to go. And that's number 5 for less cursor movement and less headaches as well. As far as the model tree goes, we've added show only and accept to that feature too on top of the hide and hide all. So that's going to be nice when you're doing some larger assemblies, if you only want to see part of it, or if you're going through a design review and you only want to see part of the design or show part of the entire product that you're producing. And also a big new feature here is the tree search and filter. So if you're looking for a part, maybe it's maybe you're working on an assembly that you didn't make, so you're not really familiar with the model tree and it's just a big mess. You can just go ahead and type in your part name right there, and it'll pop up all your parts, all your plans, all of your different axes that you've created or are looking for, and that's just going to make your process much more efficient and fluent. The sketch reasons is going to be a brand new productivity improvement right within CREO. So what this is, it's going to be well, what a sketch region is it's a closed contour defined by sketch entities and their intersection with the coplanar 3D edges that make part of the geometry. So you're going to be able to just select the different faces of your sketches that you want, and then go ahead and extrude from there, just kind of speeding up your process. And we see value in here because you're going to be able to bring in different parts, use that sketch region from a separate part, and then bring it into an assembly and mimic that sketch much easier, and go ahead and select the area that you want to extrude or cut from. As far as sheet metal goes, the flat pattern representation has been improved and simplified. So now you can easily switch from a bent to a flattened state when modeling a sheet metal part. And there's also been improvements on the corner release and conversion tools as well. So the conversion tool now supports conversion of solid parts into sheet metal pieces, even if the part is containing non-uniform thicknesses. So As far as Unite technology goes, we've now added Adventure to that. So on top of SolidWorks, Siemens NX, and CATIA files, now you're going to have the power to open and update Adventure files. So that's going to give you the ability to not have to worry about importing it and wasting time there. You can just leave it in its native format right away. Nice little upgrade there. And the design perspective. So we've always had that design and perspective, but now we've enhanced it. So now you can actually go ahead and work on your model right within this view. It's going to be good for just more of the artsy CAD models you're trying to draw up, and just give you a better representation of what it's going to look like in real life. As far as freestyle goes, we have a new import preview. So instead of having to go through the process of importing different assemblies or parts and wasting that time, you can just do a quick import preview, and it's going to show you that geometry mesh of the part ahead of time, just to make sure you're importing the correct part and it's not going to be broken when you import it. And along with curvature, you can push and pull however you'd like. And then on top of that, we've also added a box creation mode, and that's just going to be another tool that helps you work on the different facets of your model and just gives you more options for modification in general. All right, so now let's move on to some of the new modules right within CREO. So the first one we've added is topology optimization, and the idea here is that physical design products is limited by human imagination and often exists in designs and development practices as well. So we wanted to have topology optimization and use that to enable the automated creation of optimized designs based on different constraints. So if you look at this tooth here, or this piece here, you're going to have a number of different forces on this, creating different stresses and strains, just based off of testing we've done in the field. And, this part works, but maybe we could use a little bit less material. So with that topology optimization, we're going to be able to say, hey, we want to keep these the same. We want to keep these right in the same position. Don't touch these. We also want to have our part not lose its original design intent. So with topology, we can go ahead and find this geometry mesh and find the optimal part shape. But since it's integrated right within CREO Parametric, now we can actually go and create a parametric model surrounding that topology geometry that we've produced. So you're going to be able to have parameters, have constraints, and then figure out the optimal shape based off of those, and to recreate the product entirely for you. So like I mentioned, this is fully integrated right into CREO. You're not going to go out and have to use third-party software and so forth. And not only are you creating your test-related services, but you're creating a parametric geometry. You're literally creating a new part altogether. Most programs do one or the other, but with CREO, you have them right in the same software. And when paired with CREO Simulate, using structural, modal, and thermal analysis too, you can go ahead and optimize just about everything about that part. And drive optimization against multiple objectives simultaneously. So you're going to be able to find a part without even having to create it. You're going to be able to create parts that were previously unimaginable. Now on to additive and subtractive manufacturing extension. So this technology keeps on developing over the years, so we keep building ours. And the idea today is we want you to be able to have the same software to design, optimize, validate, and do 3D print checks right within the same program. So that's why we have this extension right within CREO. So some of the improvements we made here is we've added another lattice cell type, and that's the stress. So it's giving you more options to play around with when creating your lattice features. And we've improved the simplified visualization as well. So now it's just going to be a lighter weight visual for us. So it's going to be really nice when you're using huge lattices and you kind of want to have a quick preview of it before you go ahead and hit accept. You're going to have that option to just improve speed there. And now we also have the support of conical beams as well. So you're going to be able to optimize your part using these lattice features. And on top of that, you're going to be able to optimize the shape of the lattice features by, having less material and making your product look more streamlined as well. And this is going to be a great pair with CREO Simulate because you're going to be able to optimize the power of 3D printing and lattice features altogether. Like I said, the industry keeps upgrading, and now metal printing is a huge thing. So we've added 3D metal printer connectivity to about 70 different metal printers across the world. We've also upgraded the printer management a little more intuitive. You can actually see the printer. Nice up right there. We've also added some tools to automate, we've also added some tools to automate support structure generation. So this is going to really allow you to utilize all the amazing capabilities and innovation that 3D printing provides. And with this extension right within Creo, you're going to be able to manage, track, and store, and reuse all of your printer apps right within Creo. And onto our next extension, the Creo Mold Machining Extension. And this is also fully integrated right within PDC Creo. We're trying to keep you all in one software, not having to use third-party softwares and having a lot of data transferring. So what this new extension does is it really focuses more on molds, cavities, positives and negatives too. It's going to be nice for processes where you're trying to get rid of a lot of material and then maybe use a smaller drill bit at the end to have a nice finish on top of that. So with this new extension, we're supporting the high-speed machining toolpath, so you're going to really reduce time to create the part and the toolpath altogether, so you can utilize your machine tools to their full ability. And you can take advantage of any of the multi-processors that you might have too. Keeps you all internal and very efficient. Advanced roughing and rest roughing are also going to be available to you as well, and you can also do it as many times as you need. And it's all going to be part of the high-speed machining. It's going to make you more fast and efficient. And advanced finishing and rest finishing. So this tool is kind of nice because you can switch between bits. So if you have a big piece that you want to take away a lot of material to start off with, you can go ahead and use a big bit, and then when you want to have your piece more detailed and more precise, you can go ahead and change it to a smaller bit, and that's going to make your machining process much more efficient and more accurate. This extension is a standalone extension because it does also include all full 3-axis trajectory and hole making features as well, but it can also be paired with the previous machining extension as well. And the last module that's added is the Creo Flow Analysis. And this enables designers and engineers with simulation tools, and it gives them the power to analyze products much earlier and often, which is really going to reduce the need for rework and faulty products, which is going to save you time, and it's going to be much less expensive to resolve problems earlier in the design process. That's kind of the idea here. We want to be able to give your mechanical engineers the power to test their idea before actually having it go to market. So this is what it looks like right here. So we're testing on a gas or drill bit right here, and we're using some of the particles to mimic that and make sure there's no failures, there's no leaks and so forth. So by doing this, we can identify problems and optimize our design. And this is all right within Creo, like I said. So we can set CFD, drive our analysis and drive our design. Like I mentioned, this is supposed to be for all engineers, not just the specialists. So we want to be able to have the mechanical designers be able to use this tool, and it makes for a very simplified workflow. And this all provides for just a very seamless workflow between CAD and CFD. So, you're not going to have to clean up your model and send it over to a third-party CFD program or so forth. You can just go ahead and use that actual CAD model and just let that drive your design right from there. And in return, this provides for rapid simulation turnaround with highly accurate results. So it's going to give the power to your designers to get to that optimal and final design much faster. And that's what Creo Parametric is. That's what Creo Parametric does and is always improving on as well. So with Creo 5.0, we wanted to address some of the issues that customers have had in the past with their CAD solutions. So we made some productivity improvements right within Creo, and then we expanded upon some of the extensions and added some extensions as well. So at this point, we'd be happy to answer any questions, but that about wraps up today's demonstration.
All right, well, thank you very much.
Pass the ball back to Brad then.
Yeah, we don't see any questions in the queue. That was some really great stuff, Zach. looks like CREO 5.0 is a pretty compelling release from PTC. We'll hang on here. Oh,
absolutely.
There we go. So there was one. Now we have one question here. Is there any improvements in drafting? Zach, would you have an answer for that one?
Yeah. So the draft tool is going to work the same, but the improvements as far as drafting goes is now if you did have a round or a chamfer on that corner, you're not going to have to go and delete that round or chamfer. You can just add that drafter right away. So the drafting feature is going to be the same, but you can have improved modifications with it, I guess.
Zach,
okay.
I believe actually the question might be not so much drafting of putting angles, but so much drafting as the 2D functionality of drafting the drawing.
So
I would agree with that.
No, that's pretty consistent.
Okay. Next question we have is, how has the admin settings changed in CREO 5.0? Yeah, okay, so you clarified that. Do you have an answer for that, Zach?
I do not know.
Okay. That's something, so for that question, we can look into it. If we have any answer that we find, we will send that out to everyone that attended. So any question we aren't able to answer, we'll definitely get you an answer for it. The next question we have is, what licensing is required for the topology optimization? Zach, do you know what slide you had where it talked about topology optimization?
Yeah, I can go ahead and pull it up again. Are we looking for like the different levels of the extension? Because I do know there are advanced and some versions of that as well.
Yeah, it would be something along the lines of what needs to be sold and then what it requires to run some of that stuff.
No, I'm not totally sure on the capability or that extension as far as that goes, as far as licensing goes with that.
Okay.
So yeah, I guess I have to get back to you.
Yep, that's fine. We will. Are there model-based definition viewers for downstream? So with that question, the downstream viewer that we typically leverage from PTC would be our CREO view technology. And like an outside person might start with something like a CREO View Express, and that would show you annotations and some of that stuff. And then there's certain levels of licensing that you move through. CREO View Lite, and then I think we moved to MCAD, and then there's maybe a level above that. So those are the tools that we typically see companies use for model-based definition viewing downstream. And then the follow-up to the admin settings, have the file locations changed? I don't believe the file locations have changed from CREO 4 to CREO 5 in terms of where the install is going and where things are being read from. But again, we'll follow up on that.
Yep,
we actually got the answer for the topology optimization. It is only offered in CREO 5.
Mm-hmm. And it's not built into CREO Simulate as well. Like CREO PARAMETRIC Premium does come with some of the CREO Simulate's abilities, so you'd be able to integrate that and use that with topology optimization, but it's not built into it,
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's good to know. All right. Well, good. That was a good list of questions that we had. Yep. Okay. Good. So looking through the queue, that was a lot of the questions that we have. So we will take and look for any ones that we weren't able to answer, create an answer, and I believe that this recording will be made available to you through Elite. So with that, since I'm seeing no more questions, let me just make sure. Yep. With that, we will end today's webcast, and I thank everyone for their attendance. Thanks to Zach for delivering us the message around Creo 5, and for Stuart for hosting us. And we will talk to you guys next time. Thanks, everyone.